So I just got to Stuttgart and it's been like a 6.5 hour ride and I haven't had food really all day and I haven't had any water pretty much, so I'm gonna go find my hostel. Then we'll start actually planning what I'm gonna shoot for this video because I have some ideas but I'm not 100% sure. So when I asked my friends who live in Stuttgart one thing I should explore about the city, they mentioned mobility. It's something I noticed as I walked through the public spaces towards my hostel, over the giant highway cutting through the city. Stuttgart is changing. Okay, for context, this is Stuttgart. It's the 6th largest city in Germany and the capital of Baden-Württemberg. It's a beautiful city, also known as the Cauldron, because it sits inside of a valley surrounded by hills. This doesn't help its air quality. It's home to companies like Mercedes, Daimler, and Porsche. Remember that giant highway? Keep that in mind. Around 2014, they started getting in trouble for their air quality. The locals didn't like that, so they sued the city. Things are changing, but it's not that simple. And this is what interested me. I wanted to see a city grappling with its past as the birthplace of the car, and perhaps the future of mobile sustainability. It's a really beautiful, beautiful city, and it's so quiet. I almost feel weird talking to myself because I can really hear everything around me. But it's also a really hilly city, so if you're here to visit, be ready to walk up some stairs. I can understand why people may opt for cars, but then there are these benches. You can just sit and look at this view. I'm gonna assume this is my hostel. It's pretty wild. It's like because it's on this hill, you can go downstairs. This is so wild. It's such an interesting hostel. Looks like a museum more than a hostel. So after I found my hostel, I decided to take the tram and head to my first stop, the Mercedes-Benz Museum, just to explore a little bit more of the city and better understand the history of automobiles and where it all began. I went in with a bit of a skeptical eye, but was met with an amazing architectural building that shared a lot of history around automobiles and how it's changed the course of history. And it did give me a little bit of hope in terms of what a company like Daimler and Mercedes is doing to change the way they approach sustainability. As I headed back into the city to meet up my friends, I noticed a lot of these bike lanes. They told me that this has been a new initiative by the city, helping people reclaim their spaces from automobiles. Cafes like this one have even taken it into their own hands to create more outdoor spaces. Although there were plenty of cars, I was surprised at the amount of public spaces that were available for the community to enjoy a quality of life. This train specifically was fascinating because the hills were so steep that it had to have a special gear. In the back, people could mount their bikes. So as you can tell, there's this kind of clear juxtaposition between a lot of traffic and this beautiful community area. And then here are my tour guides. I loved how these spaces were being reused and reclaimed. For example, this theater space is technically still a garage for the trains. day 2 here of my journey. I'm gonna head to the library here. It's kind of a really interesting building, so I'm gonna go check it out. I'm at the biblioteca. It's an amazing architectural experience. But yeah, I highly recommend if you do come out to Stuttgart and you go to the library, also come up to Terrace, maybe even spend some time at the cafe. Yeah, I'm gonna head back down now. And one thing I really love about cities like this is just how much history you can really feel. Stuttgart is a city that was bombed quite heavily during World War II, and so they rebuilt it, but still there are a lot of these buildings that have been around for a long time. I'm gonna continue on towards the museums. With a few more hours left before I had to head out, and with mobility still in my mind, I decided to just take a moment and enjoy the city. I was in that really nice area where the park was, and I want to get to that museum right there. Now I have to figure out where the bridge to get onto the other side is. So as you can tell, they're actually starting to reclaim parts of the road for pedestrian use. So I'm actually just walking on what looks like what used to be part of this like highway road, but now they've basically put a little bunker thingy on the side so that cars can't come in, and now people can actually walk across this highway. So I managed to actually come up on the hills to actually go check out this place called the Weissenhof Museum, which my friend recommended and told me that it was an initiative of the Bauhaus movement in school, so I want to check that out. But I got off this stop called the Kilisburg on the U5, and it dropped me off right in the middle of Hohen Park. It's just really beautiful. I'm not gonna have time to check it out, but you can see right behind me, it just goes to show I was kind of getting bored of the central area, surprisingly, and decided to come check this out before I catch my train to Tübingen, and it's totally worth it. As my trip came to a close, I reflected on the totally awesome experience of getting to know a city through a particular lens. This time it was about mobility, but Stuttgart is more than that. So just like that, right where I started, which is right at the train station, and I'm headed to Tübingen, but Stuttgart was a really fantastic trip. But now I'm gonna hop on the train so I can make my way. Alright, thank you so much for checking out this video. I'm experimenting with a lot of different styles. You know, I realized that in order for me to get better at creating content, I'm gonna need to make like 1,000 more shitty videos, if not at that. So I appreciate you being part of this journey. Stuttgart was really awesome, and it was really fun for me to explore a city from kind of a specific lens. Of course, it's more than just a city about mobility. I mean, it's a fucking beautiful city, and the food is pretty good, and everything is quite walkable. All the major areas, the touristy spots that you might want to hit is kind of all central. So It's really, really nice. I highly recommend it. And with that note, please make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe. I have one more video from South Germany that I'm queuing up. It's about Tübingen. It's a city kind of in a similar area. It's a couple hours outside, or maybe not even that far. I took a train, so I forget. All right, until next video, this has been me, Kenta, and I hope to see you again soon. All right, bye.